Growing up, we've learned there are certain social norms we follow, like not chewing your food with your mouth open, and we don't pick our nose in public. Okay, don't be grossed out. We all know at some point in time, everyone has done it. All right, so let's not go there. But let's talk about what is proper etiquette around oral hygiene practices in public. On this episode of RDH Coast to Coast, Tina and Kim have some fun talking about this enlightening subject. We can't wait to hear your thoughts on this topic too, so dive right in and listen up. Okay, Kim, this week, let's talk about something that I heard on a podcast that I recently listened to. And the podcast was it's on the Mike Rowe. Do you know who Mike Rowe is?
No.
Okay. So Mike Rowe, he is the voice and the face behind Dirty Jobs, where he goes undercover.
You know him, yes.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I knew the name, but I was like,
Yeah.
Who is that? Yeah, we used to love Dirty Jobs.
Yeah. So he has this podcast called The Way I Heard It, where he goes into just different aspects of history and provides a little story behind it, and then you try to figure out what aspect of history is he talking about. Well, the one that I just listened to was the history behind the creation of a toothpick, which is kind of fascinating.
It is fascinating because I hope you're gonna tell us the history.
Well, I mean, so he goes into it's the toothpick has been around forever, anything from using old animal bones for people to pick their teeth, finding just the correct I think it was white birch makes the best wooden toothpick, and how people have changed them over the years to have decorative little ends on them, whether it's the foil bright colored curly cues or the intricate designs on them.
Or my grandparents always loved stimulants.
Oh, yeah. The oral hygiene approved version. So anyways, and there's lots of different uses. They went into all that, but they started going down this rabbit hole of being places and seeing people use toothpicks. And it made me think about, I don't know how many hygienists have a conversation about public oral hygiene etiquette. I know. What is great etiquette behind it? Is it, I've been places where I've seen people using traditional floss and flossing. And I don't know about you, when I traditional floss, some stuff flicks out.
It's all over your mirror.
Yeah. But haven't you ever been somewhere where you see somebody doing that?
Or you see somebody pull out something and it's oh, I can tell that you must have an open contact because you're getting that meat out with the end of your fork right now.
Yeah.
And I think for us, we're so in tune to it, to the person doing it that doesn't have, dental background or something like that. It's just oh, this is my natural thing I do when I'm done eating is I got to get the food out of my teeth. But to us, we're we know what's in there. We know what you're doing and where it's going, you know?
Yeah. And I don't want you flicking that
at me
across the table at me. Yeah.
Correct.
But at the same time, it's when you see somebody doing oral hygiene out in public, we're happy about it, right? So isn't there's gotta be I don't know. I just feel there is some boundaries to be set. Maybe traditional flossing where you're picking it out all over the place or the flings everywhere might not be something that you're going to do at the table or sitting on an airplane.
Yes. No. And let me tell you, the other thing that drives me nuts too is, you see the little floss picks on the street and it's okay, I'm so glad that you flossed, but you're throwing it on the ground, or you see them on the beach washing up and they're plastic, right? So, throw them in the trash. So Kim, what would you say then is acceptable oral hygiene habits out in public? If someone's got something jammed in their teeth and they got to get it out, where are your boundaries on that? I'm going to say start in the bathroom. Even if it's if you're in a public bathroom, I mean, if you're the only one in there, I guess go ahead. But I mean, because you really don't want to do it where the toilet is either. So,
Right?
or wait till you're in the car.
Okay.
I think that would be my go-to is wait till you're in the car.
Okay. Now, what about if it is something like toothpicks or, like the different interproximal brush aids that range from the Christmas tree version all the way down to the flat little rubber filaments that come out. We know there's all the different makers and designers out there for that. Like for me personally, I don't have any problem walking around, even sitting at the table at the restaurant, going through and going to town on my teeth. But I don't know, is that, or I've done it on the plane too. Is that not appropriate? Am I crossing boundaries?
That's such a hard question. I guess it depends on the company you are with. If you are out to dinner with a new couple that you're going out to dinner with, I don't think I'd pull something out and be sticking everything in between my teeth, because then they might look at me and be like, what is she doing?
True.
Or like you're out to dinner with like new mom friends or something like that.
Yeah.
I would judge if somebody did that. I would say, I love that you're taking care of your teeth, but I would secretly in my head probably judge a little bit where I don't need to see you do it. Then in my head, I'm also probably critiquing you.
Right. Like you're not doing this correctly.
Correct.
But if you're out like with a whole bunch of dental friends, then it's like,
yeah,
this is what
we're all doing it. Yeah.
So it's kind of like farting, right? It's like you went there with your family. Yeah, okay, you let it rip because but when you're out with a whole new group of people, you're like, nope, you just kind of quietly walk
forward. Yes.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that is the reason it came to mind because they were talking about it on that podcast about how one of them was sitting on an airplane and was actually flossing, and they could see the floss going out and hitting the airplane, the seat in front of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I really need to stock up on my like little travel Clorox wipes or something like
that. Because honestly, you don't know what's on those planes and they don't clean them. I will say that my dad, he's not a plane flosser, but he's a habitual floss in front of the TV with string floss, or he walks around the house flossing all the time. I'm like, I'm really glad you're flossing. And my mom's always like, go to the bathroom. Like, why do we have to watch you floss your teeth? Right?
Yeah. It's like, flicking all your
all over the place. Like, thanks. I see it all day long when I treat patients.
Yeah. Now, what about at home when you're brushing your teeth? Will you wander around the house when you brush your teeth?
No, I always stay in the bathroom.
Really? Oh, I'm a roaming toothbrusher.
Yeah. You know what? I think because too, like, it's always the last thing I do before I go to bed. So I already have like my whole house put away, and like I'm in my room, in my bathroom, and I brush. And then in the mornings I go to the gym for 5 o'clock. So I'm brushing, I'm half awake. So I'm not wandering then either. Because I'm not going to wake up my whole house.
That's fair. Yeah, no, I'm brushing my teeth and I'm like, oh, I better fill my water bottle for the day. I'm like full on multitasking.
Yes. But that's what we can do. We are great multitaskers.
That's true. So the moral of the story that I'm getting from all of this is that you have a better public oral hygiene etiquette than I do. I think so. So note to self that when we're together, that because we're both dental friends, that I can go ahead and pick my teeth.
You can. So I can't wait until we can have dinner together and I can watch you pull out your interdental brushes.
Oh gosh, Kim, thank you so much. I just hope this was a lighthearted conversation. And I'm curious,
it's fun.
Right? Like what our listeners, I hope that they will make comments and chime in on what their thoughts are on.
I hope so, because I'm very curious on what people think about this.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be starting to be a question that I want to ask several other dental friends. Like, what are your thoughts on oral hygiene?
Should ask any guests that we have on. That should be our first question.
That should be. Let's do it. Done. Stay tuned, friends. We're going to be asking everyone these questions.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you to our sponsor, Dental Post, the nation's largest dental job board. Be sure to check them out for different types of employment resources. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast. And make sure you follow Tina and Kim on all the different social medias to learn other tips and tricks related to dentistry. Until next time, have a great day.